Hello everybody, welcome back to the xSmithyx channel and welcome to something a little bit different here today, as we're going to be taking you on a hot lap around the Spa Francorchamps circuit on F1 2020 into La Source. You want to brake at about 100 metres, down into first gear on the apex and then a double shift up into third, just to manage that wheel spin out of La Source. And now we are heading down the hill towards our Rouge and Radion. You want to make this corner as straight as possible, scrub off the minimum amount of speed. You can see on the exit at the top of the hill here, we didn't use all the track, so that has maybe scrubbed off a kilometre an hour, something like that, but not too much. Obviously, those do matter though here in time trial. As we come towards Lacombe, braking here for about 60 metres, down into fourth gear. Don't carry too much speed in through the first part. You can see that's compromised our exit here. You want to try and get on the throttle as early as possible, somehow not invalidating through there as we come down into Brussels now. Very, very difficult corner, always falling away from you. Down to second, double shift up into fourth gear, into no name. You want to take this in fifth, use all the track on the exit, make sure you don't track extend though. Down into Pouon now. You want to downshift once into seventh, on the throttle as early as possible. We might have shifted up a little bit too early there into eighth, but not too bad. Into this is a very difficult corner. Fifth gear, you want to hook the car over the curb on both parts of this to help the rotation. Again, using all the track on the exit, down 2 gears, another one on the apex into fourth. Slam the throttle down as we come out of Stavelot. And that is an absolutely crucial exit, as the exit speed you take out of there will affect the entirety of this run down the back straight. Take the shortest line possible as we come towards Blanchemont. Another corner, you want to be nice and smooth, don't scrub off too much speed. You can see nice and smooth through there towards the bus stop. Just got to make sure you pick out your braking point, 100 metres, slam it down into second gear. Again, don't carry too much speed, hit that curb on the inside, down into first, double shift up into third for the extra bit of rotation. And as we come up to the line, you can see we set a 1:41.437. As you can see here, just a little bit off our optimal lap time. We did go slightly faster through the first and middle sectors on one of our previous laps, but still a pretty good lap overall. Compared to the world record time on Xbox at the minute, we're about 1.3, 1.4 seconds off, something like that. However, one of the things we will be doing in this series, all of these laps are going to be done using our race setups that we use in league racing, rather than the optimised time trial setups that most of those world record lap times will have been set on. Because obviously these setups will be much more usable for you, for those of you who league race, or for those of you who just want a comfortable setup rather than the rather oversteery ones you tend to get at the top of the time trial leaderboards. We will get into the setup in just a little bit, but before we get to that, let's break that lap down now and show you some of the crucial areas you need to focus on if you want to be quick around this circuit. So the first area we are going to focus on, of course, is La Source, the very first corner on the track. Coming in, you want to be hitting the brakes right about here. If you are a bit better on the brakes than me, you can maybe push it that little 10-28 metres extra. This is where I find to be best though, and very importantly, you want to make sure you don't shift up into 8th gear. There is absolutely no reason to do it on the game. It's just going to make things more difficult, more awkward when you are downshifting. You want to be going down into 3rd gear in a straight line like we're going to show here, and as you turn in, down into 2nd, and then right about now, this is where I shift down into 1st, just to help get the car in, stop the understeer, and as you can see, make sure you hit the apex. A double shift on the exit, like I said, because that will help, for those of you not running traction control, get the car off the corner as best as possible. Keep the car to the left, use all the track available, and that's going to be crucial, because all the way down this back straight, any speed you lose on the exit, you're going to keep losing all the way down to Lacombe, which incidentally is the next area of the track we're going to look at. We'll play it in full speed first, just so you can see what it looks like on a full flying lap. Obviously, if you are running a time trial setup, you can probably get through here a little bit quicker. There probably are mistakes I've made in this, because like I said, I'm not one of these esport aliens. I'd like to think I'm pretty decent at the game, but I'm not an alien. It's a very difficult sector to get right. It's very, very tricky and technical, and very easy to lose time on. So let's break it down for you now. The very first thing you need to focus on is braking into Lacombe. I brake about here, it's roughly 60 to 65 metres. Again, if you are more comfortable on the brakes, you're better at braking than I am, you could probably push it a little bit later. I'm still trying to get used to my load cell brake pedal, so I'm definitely not the best, but this is just what I find works, especially with this setup. Now, one of the things I definitely find useful and quite unique about this corner is I carry the brake through the apex of this corner. Now, usually, obviously, you want to trail brake in, release the brake, and then throttle on the exit, but for me, I don't find that works. I carry about 50% brake pressure into the apex of the corner. You don't want to be going in too quick, because you are just going to ruin this entire sector. We're going to see when we play it in a second. You want to be shifting down to about 5th and then 4th on the apex, another one of these late downshifts to help keep the car in. And again, this is one of the curbs you definitely want to be mounting. We're going to play it for you now. You can see down into 5th gear at this point, keeping the brake on, and now down into 4th. You need to mount this inside curb. It's absolutely crucial that you do it because it's going to gain you so much lap time and help set up the exit. However, like I said just a second ago, you do not want to be carrying too much speed into this corner. If you run wide, it's going to ruin not only the entrance to this corner, it'll ruin the exit, it'll put you offline for the corner after that, and this entire sector will be ruined. So it's very, very important you hit this apex, make sure you bleed off the speed. You don't want to be carrying throttle through the exit of this corner, and it's all about setting up the exit and entry to the very next corner, which we are going to show you now. As you can see as we play this though, I've not followed my advice. I have gone in a little bit too deep, and you can see as we freeze it here, I'm a little bit too far to the left. Ideally, I'd rather be further to the right hand side to open up the entry and the line through the next part of the corner, because that's going to give you the best speed, the best ideal line through there. So like I said, it's very, very important the first part you don't carry too much speed through, because as you see as we're going to go through the next part of the corner, the line is very, very shallow. It's compromised basically through the entirety of this part of the lap. We're going to freeze it on the exit here. Ideally here, you want to be further over to the left because you're setting up the entry to the next corner, which is very, very important. But you can see we're just going to have to do what we can, get over to the left as much as possible. We're going to have to turn in early once again on a shallower line, and this is going to compromise us. It means we're going to run further wide on the exit. As you can see, as I mentioned in the lap, I don't know how this wasn't a track invalidation, to be honest with you, because that's definitely all 4 wheels off the track as far as I'm concerned, but we got away with one there. Now into the next corner. This is one of the hardest corners for me on the entire F1 game. This is where I brake just after the start of the curb, and as we mentioned in the hot lap, this corner, the track just falls away from you, so it's very, very important you get the braking right. If you go in too deep, you're going straight on. So my advice for this corner, like I said, brake just after the start of the curb, and you want to be braking down into about 4th gear initially. You want to use 100% brake pressure at the start, but you need to bleed off that brake pedal. You need to trail brake into this corner. It is so crucial. By the time you get towards the apex, you only want to be doing about 10-15% brake pressure. Any more than that, like I said, you're going to lock up, it's going to push you wide, and that is going to be this corner ruined. In terms of your gear selection, it's very interesting. There are 2 ways you can go about it really. You can either try and carry 3rd through the corner, or what I prefer, as you're going to see in a second, shift down into 2nd as you get into the apex, a quick double shift up into 4th, and that will help get the car rotated. You're going to see we go down 4th gear around about now. This is where we're bleeding off the brake pressure, down into 3rd, and it's roughly about here, I think it is. We go into 2nd just to stop the car going too far wide. Then we're going to do the double upshift. You want to apply about 60% brake throttle pressure, out the corner. That will rotate the car. It's very important here. You want to get right over to the right hand side, over to this curb. You need to open up the apex of this corner. However, don't use too much of the curb on the outside because it will unsettle the car. Stay in 5th gear. You want to mount this inside curb. Don't cut the corner though. It's very easy to do. And again, on the apex, you see a little correction there, and that is the absolute maximum track limits you can get away with. It's very important you get a good exit from there because it's going to carry all the way down into Pouon. We're going to stay on board before we get to the next important part. You've probably already guessed it is the chicane. Pouon's quite simple. Downshift, back on the throttle. Like I said, we probably shift into it a little bit too early there. It's not going to cost us too much, but into this corner, we're going to play it at full speed. This is an absolutely crucial part of the lap. It is so hard to nail. I think I've done pretty well here, but there's still mistakes in this, definitely. But it's crucial. You want to get a good exit because it's going to affect your entire run down this back straight. So let's see how we did that. So coming into the first part of it, obviously the first part is braking. Now for the braking point for me, I tend to brake just about here. It's just after the start of the curb. You want to be going down 3 gears in this corner. You can do 100% brake pressure. You're at quite high speed, so you don't need to worry about trail braking. Like I said, down 3 gears into 5th, but you don't want to be aiming for the curb. You need to be aiming further to the right. You have to hook your car onto the little bit of AstroTurf on the inside of the corner. It's going to help rotate the car. It's going to open up the next part of the corner and give you so much extra lap time. It's so crucial. I really can't specify it. When I've been doing my laps without it, we can lose easy 3 or 4 tenths. You're going to see here what I mean. We want to turn in very early, earlier than you think. Hook the car on this little bit of AstroTurf. Obviously, don't go too much further because then you're on the grass. And as you can see, this is now the entry to the next part. Ideally, I probably would have wanted to stay on that a little bit further and be a bit further to the right at this point, just to open up the next part of the corner. Obviously, we've not been able to do that, so we're going to have to lift off the throttle a little bit. You don't want to be carrying the throttle on the exit of this because it will push you wide. the corner we've just gone through. So at this point, I'm not on the throttle, I'm just trying to get the car over to the right to open up the next part of the chicane. Once again, the exact same thing. Keep it in 5th gear, hook it over the curb. It's so crucial. I can't stress it enough. You can easily gain 3 or 4 tenths through this part. You can see, trying to get over as much as possible, throw the car in because we're slightly offline, hook it over the curb, about 50-60% over the curb, and then you want to mash the throttle at this point. You're going to see, again, a little bit of a correction once again. Don't know how we got away with the track limits on that one. And then we go into Stavolo, the last really crucial corner before the bus stop. This is where I brake for this corner. I haven't really got a reference point, to be honest. This is just where I brake. You want to be going down, the way I find it best is to go down 2 gears initially in the braking point while you're going straight, and then as you get towards the apex, another one of these late gear shifts into 4th just to stop the car going too far wide, because the exit here is so crucial. As you can see, down to 6th, down to 5th, you're going to carry 5th, and about now, I think it is where we go into the corner. You can see we've missed the apex a little bit there, so there's more time to be found, but you can see the car just wants to run wide. Use the curb on the exit. You can probably get away with a bit more than that, but I didn't want to invalidate this lap because this, as you know, is the fastest lap I have done. Through here, this is completely flat out, very easy, but like I said, much with La Source, it's a crucial exit, this one. You go all the way down this straight to the bus stop, it's completely flat out, so if you lose half a tenth on the exit, by the time you get to the bus stop, as we're going to carry on to it now, you've probably lost about a tenth and a half. So it's absolutely crucial that you nail all the corner exits. It is more important around this track than almost any, probably apart from Monza. Into the bus stop though, this is where I brake just before 100 metres. Again, the absolute aliens and people who are better on the brakes than me can probably stretch it to the 100 metre board. This is where I can get it to though. You want to get it down to 2nd gear, and again, you're aiming to use the curb on the inside to help rotate the car. You're going to see I don't quite follow my own advice here. I go a bit too far to the right because you don't want to touch the sausage curb. You see down into 2nd here, that orange sausage curb, sorry, not yellow. I've turned in too early, I've hit that sausage curb, and that is going to slightly affect my line. You want to be slightly further to the left than I've got my car. But once again, as I say with all the chicanes, it is about maximising the second part of it. So you want to move the car over as far as you can to the right to open up the left, because again, it's another corner exit and that's where you find the speed. I tend to downshift into 1st just for that bit of extra rotation into the corner. Another double upshift into 3rd just to manage the wheel spin. You can't go 100% straight away on the exit of this corner. You want to be doing about 80%. You can see a quick upshift into 4th and then spin it to the line. And that is a lap of Spa Francorchamps. And now that we've done that, it's on to the setup, which I know a lot of you will be watching this video for. The setup, aerodynamics, I use 2.6. You can probably, in the race, probably go down to about 1.6, just to help with tyre wear a little bit, but I find in quali and in time trial especially, 2.6 seems to work for me. Transmission, 50-53, pretty standard on this year's game really. 53 off throttle just helps the car rotate in the slower speed corners, such as La Source. For the suspension geometry, I have gone a little bit off what the meta usually is. It's usually right, left, left, left. We're using a little bit more rear toe because it just helped me with confidence going through some of the higher speed corners with that rear stability. With a bit more confidence, I probably could just move that to the left, but that's what I've gone for initially. We've got a 110 suspension, that's where most of your rotation will come from. 5.8 on the anti-roll bars, and then 3.3 for the ride height. Although, looking at it now, this is probably one of the tracks on the game you can get away with using the inverted ride height trick. If you don't know about this, on certain tracks, you can probably get away with running the front ride height slightly higher, and it will make your car slightly quicker. So that's probably something you could try if you wanted to around here. Probably would work out. And then brakes and tyre pressure, pretty standard, 150 for the brakes, and the tyres are at minimum. But that is it for today's video. I hope you have learnt something new. I hope this video does help you become quicker around this track. Let me know in the comments below if it has, and let me know what track you would like to see me do in the next one of these episodes. But I've been xSmithyx. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.